So I did that for about the first 15 months, just killing the country. And my draft board called me and said that we got a call from Washington that you got to go in the Army. Now, it was illegal to take more than 4 sons from one family. I had 5 brothers already in the service. My 5th brother couldn't go in because there was 4 in the military, in the Navy and the Army. So he joined the Coast Guard. He could be in the Coast Guard. That was my 5th brother. I just knew I was okay. In the beginning, I wanted to go into service. But I said, well, now I got Lloyd Price and a Cadillac, you know what I mean? I had a car bigger than Mr. Morgan. Mr. Morgan, he owned the sawmill in Kennett. He had a 1949 Cadillac, you know, first came with that fishtail. Boy, I wanted one of them, you know what I mean? And in 1952, Art Root bought me one when I first trip to Hollywood. He bought me a Fleetwood. I could hardly get over it. So I got so popular until Washington thought that I was, you know, really violating many different kind of laws with this music. And I know you saw it with Elvis Presley, but it was really bad with me. You know, I mean, I couldn't go through town, especially with that big car. You know, everywhere when I would get stopped, I bang bang. Couldn't play my music and stuff like that. So the kids did not matter. I mean, they didn't mind any of that. What happened when I got one deferment? They told me you are for 60 days. They gave me a 60-day deferment, and I went and toured again. I worked every night. I worked 90 nights in Texas. You know, that kind of stuff. Just work. There was no radio that went from state to state. I had to go so the kids could see me. It was amazing, you know what I mean? And she called me back down after the 60 days and said, you gotta go in the Army. Said, because the chairman of the Armed Service Committee said, you are breaking every law there is and you need to go in the service. They took me right then, put me in the service. Then I found out what they were talking about because I knew about racism, but I was not conscious. You know, I was just a kid. You know, we always having fun. And until I got in the Army at Camp Chaffee, Arkansas, where General Eisenhower just had enforced the law that the services will be integrated, is when it started to come to me why I was there. And the sergeant, my first sergeant, started explaining to me about my popularity because I was just as popular on the base as I was, you know, doing music. And then it moved me from there to Fort Hood. Everywhere I went, it was amazing how that record that music had.
But you wound up overseas too, right?
And that was the big deal. I got shipped straight to Korea. When I got to Japan, the first record I heard at Camp Drake in Tokyo was Lord and Miss Lloyd. And Lloyd Price is in here. Unbelievable, unbelievable. I had to go to Yokohama. I was there like 3 days. The 3rd day, I was entertaining in Yokohama, entertaining the troops in Yokohama, Japan. All my records. I said, well, what in the world? And it took 17 days to get there on the ship. What is the music doing here? You know what I mean? So, and then it went on and on and on. General Maxwell Taylor, who later became the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, he summons me down to Seoul, Korea, and want to know, what is the Lordy Claudy? I mean, and he asked me, he said, what is the Lord? I said, sir, what is Lord? I said, it's a record I made. That's all I had. And I sat in his office maybe 2 hours. He told me, he said, you know what? He said, there's no entertainment over here. And I understand that you entertain. And I said, yes, sir. You know, and you know, 4-star general, you know, I mean, I'm a private. He said, how would you like to represent the colors of the 8th Army and the 7th Division? Now, that was almost as bad as they telling me asking me what key was in. I didn't want to ask him what it meant representing the colors of the 8th Army and the 7th. But then he said, well, I want you to put a band together. You do anything you want to do. Draft from anybody that you believe that they could be a good band. And put together a little show for the boys here in Korea in Japan. And just go and do whatever you do, because everybody talking about you. And that's what I did, for 13 months. And that's when I started learning.